When most people think of Petra, few think about the people who still live there and are a big part of this ancient city and why the Nabataean Bedouins built the city in the first place. The Nabataeans began as nomadic Bedouin, much like other tribes in the Arabian Desert. They also had to deal with the elements as they had no shelter to protect them from the sun or the rain. The Bedouin tribes traveled with their herds of goats and sheep from place to place. Their journey took them through a harsh and unforgiving landscape with scorching summers and freezing winters. They were fierce warriors and would defend themselves against any threat. They were also expert traders and used their knowledge of the desert to trade valuable goods such as incense and spices. They built it in such a way that it looked like a natural formation, perfectly camouflaged to blend in with its surroundings. People from all over the region came to visit, bringing with them new ideas and goods. The Bedouin were able to keep their traditions and way of life alive for many years after the kingdom's fall. This made the Nabataeans wealthy and powerful, and they were able to hold on to their independence for many years. They have adapted to the harsh conditions and continue to thrive. We can see how a nomadic tribe was able to adapt to the challenges of their environment and build a society that thrived for centuries. We can also see how they were able to hold on to their traditions and way of life despite the changes around them. But they had no choice but to endure these conditions as they were constantly on the move. The Bedouin were able to thrive because they were able to stay independent from the empires around them. They were able to control their own destiny and shape their own future. They chose a location that was difficult to access, nestled between towering mountains and hidden from view. It took them several years to complete, but eventually they had built a city that was unlike any other. Their lifestyle was nomadic and they had no permanent homes, which made them an easy target for other tribes who wanted to pillage their meager belongings. But despite all these hardships, the Bedouin were a proud and independent people. While later Bedouin believed the carving at the top of the treasury held actual treasure and gold inside, leading to its name, archaeological evidence says otherwise. In order to protect themselves and their way of life, the Bedouin decided to build a city. They were able to grow crops in the fertile valleys and raise their animals in the open spaces, all while staying safe from the dangers of the desert. It was a marvel of engineering with a complex network of engineered waterways and tombs carved into the sandstone cliffs. The city's most famous structure is the treasury, a mausoleum, or royal tomb, possibly for the Nabataean king Aretas IV. For centuries, the Bedouin Nabataeans thrived in their new city, living in peace and harmony with each other and the environment around them. In fact, Petra became a hub of activity, a bustling center of trade and culture. However, eventually the Nabataean kingdom was taken over by the Roman Empire, but the Romans were unable to conquer the Bedouin people. Even today, the descendants of the Bedouin people live in the area, just as their ancestors did centuries ago. What can we learn from the story of the Bedouin? But perhaps the most important lesson we can learn from the story of the Bedouin is the importance of independence. In a world where so much is out of our control, this is a valuable lesson to remember. If you enjoyed this video and want to help us reach more Jordan lovers like you, then please consider subscribing. As always, thanks for watching.